I think you should treat your treasure and your purpose like a treasure. You might have a strong purpose that it is too early to express just now, and wait patiently for the right moment. Protect your little treasure, your childhood curiosity, until you have the strength and the freedom to express it. Your confidence, appearance, and personality is related to how much purpose you are able to express. So when I was a 12-year-old child, I once sat at the piano at my parents' house. I was alone, nobody was home, and I sang and I played, and I got an overwhelming feeling. And it wasn't just one feeling, but there were thousands of feelings. They were sad and happy, all at the same time. And it was wonderfully overwhelming. And I got addicted to it. I imagined myself singing in front of thousands of people, and I knew that I could take them with me in this beautiful space. For me, singing and making music is that warm, secure, bright feeling in my stomach. Every time, I do have it every time. And I forget everything around me. That's when I realized that this is very special to me, and that would play a really big role in my life. And this gut feeling is what I call my treasure. So my talk is about my life journey of protecting and expressing my purpose. I was very privileged that I discovered something I loved so much at an early age, but it was also a burden. I had to carry a clear passion and emotional connection around for all my life since then, knowing I would have to commit to it at some point in my life. Still sounds privileged, I know. Yeah, but when you are young, what people say or do or might say has a strong impact on your self-esteem and your confidence. And I had to protect my little treasure. Social constructs in school, for example, made me very anxious. I got confronted with prejudice just because I started to sing in front of people at school events. I was called arrogant and self-absorbed, and this left me feeling very anxious. I had the feeling that I should hide my purpose, my little treasure. Perhaps you guys know these situations. You are in a situation where you're not able to express yourself or get confronted with prejudice, and you don't have the strength to ignore what people say or might say. And maybe you decide to hide it, like I did, because it just doesn't feel right. And you know what? I think that's totally okay. Because your passion is connected to your confidence and self-awareness. And when you don't feel accepted at all, I think you're not able to express it the way you want to. I want to tell you another story, another example of me protecting my treasure. So in an early age, I saw the music industry and with talent shows. Females in short dresses, reduced on their looks. Sometimes it didn't matter if they actually sing good. The emotional life story was put in the foreground. And all these things were very intimidating me. So I distanced myself from chasing after my dream to become a singer. I didn't want to get involved with that system. My vision about me expressing my passion was very different to theirs. And the authentic art is my highest good. And the way I saw it, the music industry had different intentions and priorities. But I knew if I wanted to make money with my music, I kind of had to participate in that system. But when you want to change a system, You must first be capable of changing it. But my personality and my confidence wasn't developed enough to do that. And of course, I didn't have one clue what the actual skill set of a marketing manager, a label, or a music, like a public relations manager was. So I distanced myself from that. I didn't like the system and I didn't know how to change that. What I did was protecting my treasure. I think you don't have to bury it just because you don't see immediate solutions. I think the time will come where you'll find the freedom to express it the way you want to. So I played in bands and sang at smaller venues during my university time. I once applied to a music university, but I got rejected. And someone's laughing like that. And I felt a little relieved because I was afraid of being put in boxes and being graded like I used to be at school. Only now my treasure would be evaluated on a scale that was intangible to me. That wouldn't have been good for me. I wasn't interested in comparing myself to others that, like me, fell in love with singing and making music. Here I learned to protect my treasure from competition as well. Competition would force me to put my positive emotions against the negative emotions from someone else. I wanted to share the positive emotions that I felt. And even in those times when I decided to do something else, like my studies, I was just protecting my little treasure. I protected my warm, secure, bright feeling I found. I listened to my gut feeling. I would rather have it for my own than to see it in a manner that I don't like, or leave someone else worse off. Sometimes it's fine to stray from your path, do something totally different. And it's fine to focus on topics and fields that are not on your destined life path. They still will enrich you and make you stronger when you come back. I felt that during my university time that it still wasn't the right moment to express my music, my passion. But now I was at a point, many of us were once, or are right now, or will be, I've reached a point where I was told the best thing that you can do is to find a job, a safe job, and if you're lucky enough, you will work there until you die. Really rational thoughts right here. So I asked myself, what do I want to surround myself thinking about my future? And I saw myself as an old lady, not having tried to chase after her dream. And I feared not having tried it. So now was the time to step up and try it. Some of you might know the Voice of Germany, or whatever country you're from. I went there without actually telling somebody. And I got through all the pre-rounds. And they invited me to the show. Yay! At that time, I tried to carry my treasure in front of me. Everybody saw my emotional connection to music and also my vulnerability. But I felt that in the pre-rounds of The Voice, the people were too competitive. It wasn't at all celebrating different artists for who they are. I've learned that my purpose is defined through cooperation, not competition. My gut feeling was again like, no, attention, attention, don't do it. I would rather have the freedom to express my purpose in the right way. When I had to decide whether I would go to the show or don't, I was on holiday with my family in Spain. And at one night there was a show announced at the hotel bar, hosted by a singer from The Voice of Germany. So I thought, yes, I should go there. And she had a wonderful voice, and her technique was amazing. But for me, it was a sad event. She sang in front of a few hotel guests, all-inclusive hotel guests, sipping on their really, really bad mojitos. And that wasn't the saddest thing at all. What was sad, that she didn't seem to love what she was doing. I couldn't see one sparkle in her eyes. There was no energy, and there was nearly nothing that came across. And I don't want to bash her right now at all, because I heard that she actually sings very good, and I heard that she fell in love with making music like I did. But I felt like the treasure wasn't there anymore. Maybe it was just this evening. In my eyes, she seemed to have lost her treasure, and I thought to myself, maybe it's because she signed a contract that made her do gigs like that, where she isn't happy at all. This opened my eyes, because I saw this event at the exact right time. I decided to follow my intuition. I knew that focusing on the voice would eventually mean that I will not be able to protect my little treasure. So I didn't do it. Even if that could have brought me to the fast lane of music careers. If. Nobody knows. So now I had all these impressions and experiences, but actually now courage to act was necessary to become happy for me. It would have been more pleasant not to expose myself to the risk of losing my treasure. I could have just done something else. But I wanted it so badly, so badly. And with each step you take, I think you learn more and you gain more experiences. And I wanted to finally feel and express as often as possible what I first discovered as a young girl sitting on that piano. So I decided to go on trying to become a full-time musician. And I'm really glad that I started pursuing my dream so late at the age of 25, because I knew that the music industry would be a challenge for my self-esteem. Self-promotion, social media, constantly thinking about your external effect. But at 25, I knew much more who I was, what my values are. And I was more solid than I was at the age of 18, and especially at the age of 12. I've learned that the more self-confident I am, the better I can carry my treasure in front of my chest. Out in the open for everyone to see. It was time to make a decision. So dramatic, right? In 2021, I became an independent artist by releasing my first single. Up until now, I've released 7 singles, music videos, features. Over the last year, I felt more confident than I ever did before. Things seemed to fall into place. We built a creative collective called All Arts Collective Cologne, because my purpose is cooperation and not competition. And our credo is to support each other and support each artist for who they are. So I think when the point has come to express your passion, you have to commit with full energy. Run with all your courage in one direction, with all your strength, with all your energy, while listening to your intuition. And I see the risks, because if your treasure gets destroyed, it would be devastating. It would be for me. But for me, this is the way to be the most happy version of myself. Every day I decide to carry my little treasure in front of my chest, and I fucking love it. I want to stay on stages in like decades. Nobody knows if that actually will happen, but when I will stay on stages in decades, I still want to feel that warm, secure feeling I had when I was a 12-year-old girl. It doesn't have to be in the same intensity. And sometimes maybe it will not be there at all, but it has to be present somehow. And with the decision to go after your passion, you have to take care of your treasure as if it was made out of glass. There will be times where you feel very insecure, confused and alone, because it will be your job to protect yourself. It will be your job to protect your treasure. And sometimes this can be a very lonely place. And you have to motivate you. You have to build yourself up again. You have to praise yourself. And if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. But for me, for the first time, I'm exactly where I want to be. I can completely accept every step I took in my life because now I know that I was just protecting my treasure. Okay, finish it. Okay. You might have a purpose and not express or pursue it for valid reasons, but make sure when those reasons disappear that you muster the courage to follow your purpose path, because it will lead you to a more fulfilling life. And if I would have a talk with my 12-year-old self right now, I think that she will be very proud of us. Thank you. And have a wonderful evening.